certainly interoperability is one of the things that will be the big marker, I think, coming up this this bull run. We're actually going to start to see real cross-chain utility and collaborations.
I'm thinking of the mindset that if you really want to see cryptos become second nature, then it should be like seamless, isn't it? It should be like using internet. So you're not actually worried about who's running the office background in the background. You're actually on internet. That's it. End of.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
blockchain. If you're on blockchain, if you're blockchain, it doesn't matter whether it's Polkadot behind the scenes, Cardano behind the scenes, Ethereum behind the scenes. It should be like independent of that.
Yeah. And of course, we've got a long way to go because there's a lot of security issues that still need and bugs and features that need ironing out. But we're taking significant strides. One of the most exciting bits for me around interoperability at the moment is between the Ergo blockchain and Cardano. So Ergo's sort of the little sister of Cardano in my mind. It's using a proof of work consensus mechanism, so like Bitcoin does, and we're actually running CPU cycles to get the blocks minted. But it is using extended UTXO like Cardano does. So there's a lot of options and opportunities for cross-chain applications to work together because they're sort of using the same underlying infrastructure architecture. There's a couple of projects at the moment. One of them is one that I'm hoping to get involved with. I think I talked about it previously. I'm not sure how at what length. I still don't know a lot about it, but I've certainly signed up for getting involved. It's called the Rosen Bridge, and effectively it will be a bridge between Ergo and Cardano, so you can then move your assets cross-chain. Again, like you were saying, Dinesh, just transparently. There won't be significant awareness that you're using on different underlying tech, different underlying blockchain, but you'll have the ability to use applications on both platforms pretty seamlessly. So the Rosen Bridge is going to be an incentivized bridge that will carry out the migration of tokens one to the other. And again, it's something that I need to get into before I fully understand it. But the mechanisms for bridges are where a lot of the hacks happen in crypto. So there's been millions, billions of dollars worth of crypto assets stolen from bridges, bridge hacks, things like that. And that's because typically a bridge will lock up the token you're moving from one chain on that chain, and then unlock tokens on the other chain that are equivalent. But of course, then you've got locked up tokens sitting here, which are a huge target for hackers to come in. If they can find a way to unlock those tokens, then suddenly you've got double the amount of tokens operating live on both chains. And so that's where the sort of loss of value has happened in the past. The Rosen Bridge will behave differently, so there'll actually be I think it's a mint and burn procedure. So tokens will be destroyed on this chain before they're created on the next one. So you'll never have the option to steal from them. But yeah, I'll get into the details of those as I start to get onboarded. But that's the sort of exciting tech that we're starting to see, which is very cool. And then, of course, we've got the news about Midnight on Cardano as well, which is the privacy version of the Cardano blockchain that is now in early adoption stages. So it's being moved out from sort of within the enclave of IOG where it was developed, and starting to be exposed to the public, to techies who want to be building on it, building with it. So I've signed up for that program as well, and we'll see how that starts to play out over the next few months, which is great too, because a privacy chain is something vital for if you're really going to get large scale adoption by industry. If you are Coca-Cola and you want to be trading across the world nations, and your competitor Pepsi can see all of your transactions, can see exactly where you're making your money, then you just know that they're going to be right in there, picking up on all the new markets that you're finding and trying to steal them from you. Vice versa. I have no preference, Pepsi over Coke. They're both big sugar giants that are properly evil. So the key for a private blockchain is that suddenly the transparency that's built into Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano can introduce a layer of obfuscation, so you can't see what your competitors' transactions are doing, where they're operating from, and that gives you the privacy then to be able to compete in a more typical, market-driven capitalist economy. So the necessity is there for traditional enterprise to really adopt it. We have to have those same sort of abilities, the same market conditions as they're currently operating in. Otherwise, you'll just end up with a whole load of different problems. No one will know how to compete, and so it's interesting time. However, for most of us who are retailers who are operating in the purchase and selling, we don't mind. In fact, it's healthy for us to be able to see transactions, because then we know exactly where funds are flowing. If they've been stolen, we can follow them, we can trace them. When we're investigating projects that we're looking to get involved in terms of their token purchase or whatnot, then we can see how tokens are being distributed. We can, there's so much analysis on the health of projects that can go on because you've got this open and transparent blockchain that isn't possible in a private one, but is definitely really powerful data, especially from the due diligence side of things when you're looking at projects. Good. So let me start a bit of a screen share. There's some exciting stuff happening. So I'll get to my links up as well. First project I want to point out to you, which I don't think I've spoken at all before, is Dex Hunter. So Dex Hunter is a new product on Cardano. Notifications, and I've shown you Dexes on Cardano in the past. You've got Min Swap, Muesli Swap, Wing Riders, Sunday Swap, a myriad others, and they all are involved in exchanging one native token on Cardano into another, or in case of Wing Riders, between Ethereum blockchain and Cardano. With Dex Hunter, we've now introduced a standalone user interface that works across multiple dexes. So I've talked about how Muesli Swap's able to do that as well. Dex Hunter goes a step further and now is working with multiple dexes in the background, and we're providing a single unified user interface on the front, and that is coming with new features at a really rapid pace. So there's new things on here every time I come. But the first thing of note is really that it's just a slick interface. It's really well put together. So the swap methods are very typical of any DEX, whether it's a starter or min swap in basic mode. But then you can switch to pro mode, and you get something that looks a bit more like Muesli Swap's pro mode. And you can see down here all the orders that are open and pending and whatnot from recent transactions. You can control the slippage. So I typically work at 1% on Cardano. That seems to work very well for me. The trades still go through, and then you're not risking so much of a price change when you order. And you've got a nice big selection of tokens. The ones in here that I've talked about in the past. And then we start to see some real innovations. So if you're placing an order here, a bit like on Muesli Swap, where I showed the DEX aggregator before, where it's pulling in swaps that are on any of the other dexes or several of the other dexes. Dex Hunter does the same. So when you are when you're actually creating an order, it's using this Hunter X, which is effectively their DEX aggregator, and that pulls in the pricing from all the UTXO based orders on Cardano, which is every order. So again, that's the sort of the innovation at the base layer of Cardano, is that you can have this ability to again, public blockchain, open, transparent. Everyone can see the way the orders are formed. Anybody can interact with them, no matter where those orders have been created. So if someone's asking for a swap of 500 book tokens for ADA, then anybody and any DEX can actually interact with that order. I'll drop these links that I'm finding into the chat so you can catch up on them after, on Discord, so you can catch up on them afterwards. But this is where DEX Hunter is really coming into its own, because it's pulling in more transactions from all the different DEXs than I've seen anybody do so far, which is very cool. We've also got limit orders, so you can set the price you're willing to buy at, which again we've got on Uniswap, etc., MinSwap. You can also place stop orders, so that's when you want to trigger an order when the price reaches beyond where you are currently. So if you want to confirm, okay, if the price does get that high, then get in rather than get in where I am currently, then that's now possible with DEX Hunter, which I haven't seen many other places yet, which is great to see. And we also have a very nice trends page. So this is showing you the price action on tokens across the board. Again, a bit more like tap tools, which I've spoken about before. And in fact, they link off to tap tools on any of these tokens. So you can jump over and see the tap tools data on it as well. And then their real innovation is these baskets. So if you are a keen investor in Cardano ecosystem, you've got no idea about all of the various latest projects and products that are out there, different tokens, then you can actually, instead of going in, researching each and every one, investing into them, if you are happy to take a mix of the top 10 native tokens and just speculate on if I put 200 quid in now, that may 10x in the next couple of years, then you can just buy a basket of a various assortment of tokens in one order, which is really slick, because you're then not having to, okay, I'm going to look at IAG, book, and the Word Mobile token, and LenFi. You can just say, yeah, I'm going to stick an order. I'm going to put 200 ADA into, get me an assortment of those, and that's what's being able to done here. And you can actually create new baskets as well. So, if we were looking to work as a collective, as a collaboration, I could create a basket. We could all decide on what goes into it and what proportions, and then anybody within our group or outside can go in and buy a chunk of those tokens all at once. So a really slick way of doing portfolios, indexes almost, of tokens out there. So for example, this mix of everything, got 5 tokens in it, which is 20% of Hunt, 20% IAG, 20% Fact, Society, and Min tokens. Hunt is the native token for the DEX Hunter team, and that's rocketed in recent months, recent weeks, even though they launched a month or so ago. IAG is the storage layer that's being built out on Cardano. So you might have heard of Filecoin, JSTOR, Arweave, which are all sort of other chain storage mechanisms, typically Ethereum. And so if you want to have permanent storage that isn't just using cloud storage like AWS or Google, then you can use some of these blockchain-based storage mechanisms. And anybody and everybody can run a node and actually be paid for using those storage mechanisms. IAG is being built out on Cardano with that same methodology. Again, another project I'm going to get involved in. Fact is the token for the Orc Facts project, which is a community built Oracle system. So that an Oracle is what takes real world information like the price of wheat and makes that data available on chain so that people who can interact with the blockchain, store of value, and real world markets can basically have a price that they can use to work from. So one of the most obvious places where that happens is with USD oracles. So Charlie 3 is a big one on the Cardano that has a price feed for US dollar against ADA. So whenever you're interacting with tap tools or seeing prices on dexes as well, typically they're actually using the Charlie 3 Oracle data that's pulling the price of the dollar from the financial markets and correlating it with the price of ADA, and it's aggregating the market prices from all the different avenues and places you can buy and sell ADA and dollars at the same time. So that's an Oracle. Fact is a data token for OrcFact, which is a community-based Oracle. So SOC is a token related to the Ape Society, which is an NFT project on Cardano. You've probably heard of oh dear, what's a big one on Ethereum? Ape or say, Carol, you know it, don't you?
Was it Angry Apes or something like that?
Angry Ape, yeah. It's
No, oh, you mean the Bored Apes?
Bored Apes. That's
Yeah, Bored Apes Yacht Club.
Bored Ape Yacht Club, exactly. So that was a huge project, raked in millions and millions of dollars into these silly little pictures of monkeys. But there we go. That's what people like to put their money into, then that's fine. And so there's an equivalent of it on Cardano called the Ape Society. Again, attracted a whole load of money. I'm not particularly interested. I bought the token so I could watch it for a while and then sold it all because it wasn't really interesting. Just a bit too silly. So, and it's all a bit of a cool club, isn't it? If you're in the Bored Ape Yacht Club, then you are one of the high flyers in crypto society. But anyway, so the SOC token is related to the Ape Society project, and then Min token is the native token release produced by MinSwap team, which is the largest community DEX on Cardano. So you can get a whole load of those tokens for one transaction. So again, you're cutting down on transaction fees. You're cutting down on having to do risk assessments on each and every one. You can just say, okay, somebody out there has chosen that basket of tokens as a good potential cross, selection from various different sectors of the Cardano ecosystem, and you could just follow their lead and buy into it. So that's a nice innovation.
Well, Jonathan, you need to let us know when you set one up.
Yeah, you'd be interested in that, would you?
Yeah, but you have to give me more information about these, how to use or get on Dex Hunter. I have no idea what I would have to do. Right.
Okay. Well, I can show you straight away. So the URL is app.dexhunter.io. Where's my chat box gone? So you would follow that link. Dex Hunter is a DApp, a decentralized application on Cardano. So it sits effectively, just think of it like a website, and that's the easiest way to understand it. The differentiate between a typical website and a web app and a decentralized app is most obvious in that it has a wallet connect button. And so that one work just straight off the bat, you have to have installed a wallet extension in your browser. So in this case, I've got Eternal Wallet installed. So you can see my little logo up here. That is the Eternal Wallet. So we've been through creating DeFi wallets on Cardano. I've got a tutorial, 20-minute tutorial on it. Shows you exactly step by step how to go through and do that. So I can point that out to people. And again, if you want to have a look, this wallet is not the simplest, but it's the most powerful community wallet out there. I really rate it. So my tutorials are based on this one. And you can see I've got a wallet here, and it will show you a nice complex dashboard on what's going on with this wallet. But the most important button in the wallet, once you've got it set up, is this DApp connector button here. So the green plug. Once you click that to green, it means that this wallet, again, you can have multiple wallets installed in Eternal, but this is the one I wanted to use for demoing. So there's my staked ADA wallet. I click that plug till it goes green, and that means that this wallet, using this browser extension, and again, you can see the differentiator between a website and a browser extension in the address bar. So it's saying Chrome -extension : // That means it's using one of your browser extensions rather than just looking at a website. So other than that, that's really the only change you can see. So I can actually go to eternal.io, which is a website, and it looks exactly the same as the browser extension version, but this is actually a website, a web app, and there's tiny little text down at the bottom, version 1.11.13 web app, and then if I go back to my browser extension, version 11.13 extension. That's another way you can differentiate between just in this Eternal. On other web apps, other browser extensions, wallets, you'll see different ways of being informed, but the easiest way is just looking at the browser bar, the address bar. Chrome -extension means you're using an extension, a browser extension. The important thing about using the browser extension over the web app for your wallets in particular is that the browser extension's data just sits on your computer. That's the only place the wallet information resides. If you're using a web app, so if we were in eternal.io and it's saying web app at the bottom, that means that if we were to load a wallet into here, then the storage is a mix between your local machine and a third-party web server. So it'd be like you're using Google Drive or Gmail. That's a sort of web app that's using private storage out on the internet, as opposed to just local storage just on your computer. And for wallet information, for decentralized identity information, we want all that stored just locally, just on our machines, so that if we choose to delete it, we can delete it from that one spot, and it's no longer accessible. It's a much harder target for someone who's got a bot out there just scanning the internet for vulnerabilities. So do install a browser extension when you're dealing with a wallet. And in fact, what I recommend is you actually use the Brave browser, which has a built-in wallet for a few chains. It doesn't have one for Cardano as of yet, which is why I tell you to use Eternal. But yeah, Brave browser is what I use for all my crypto stuff. A lot of information packed into that. Sorry about that. But again, it's all built into or talked about in my tutorial video, which is probably worth grabbing while we're here as well. So if you ever are at a loose end with something to do, you can just go to YouTube, search for Fluid7, and I do come up first now, which is great. And in fact, it was on the homepage. I have this. Hello and welcome to Cardano staking tutorial video, fluid pool staking tutorial. So that was 30-minute video. So I cover some password security, setting up your seed phrase, installing browser extension, and that should cover you for everything. Any questions you have after done this or while doing this, come onto Discord and I'll help you out. Also tells you how to stake to fluid pool or any other pool if you want to, and that's a way to gain an extra 3.5% on your APR on your Cardano on your ADA holdings. And again, I'll drop that link into the chat and Discord. So So yeah, so we've got Dex Hunter, which is our decentralized application, our DApp. We've got our browser extension version of Eternal. We've switched on our green plug, our DApp connector, which means that when I go to Dex Hunter now and click the Connect Wallet button, top left, and again, most DApps use this Connect Wallet sort of feature. This has got a couple of options. I have to click terms and conditions, say I've read them, which I haven't. And then I can click the Eternal button. An alternative browser wallet is Lace. That's an official one from IOG, which is a team that built the private company that built Cardano as a whole. So if you're nervous about using crypto as a whole, Lace is a very slick, nice, simple wallet to get started with, and it's growing in capabilities all the time. It's only been out this year. Eternal's been around for a couple of years now, so my tutorials and stuff are set up for Eternal. I clicked that Eternal button to connect, and then I get this connection request via DApp. And so this is a way for you to confirm any action that you're taking on a DApp. I confirm that I want this decentralized application to talk to my wallet, my browser extension. And so I can click connect to site. And this is using what's called a SIP30 browser connection, DApp connector. So now I've connected my wallet. I can see the Eternal logo showing up here. I can see the balance. It's saying it's 3 ADA, which isn't actually accurate. So I've got a little user interface issue. If you haven't created your DApp connector to be aware of multiple UTXOs, then the balance of the wallet can appear lower than will actually be the reality in your wallet. So my wallet actually is 26.41 ADA in it. But again, because of the way Cardano is built with its extended UTXO model, you can have multiple addresses within your wallet, and each UTXO has a different balance of ADA on it. So this UTXO, this address, has a balance of 10 ADA. This one has a balance of 4.3. This one has a balance of 5. Altogether, they add up to the 26.41. But Dex Hunter is new, and it's just showing me I've got a balance of 3, which doesn't correlate with any of the UTXOs at the moment, as far as I can see. But that will get ironed out. I'll sort that out over time. Here we go. Connected wallet. We can see ADDR ... ADDR1 ... and that's actually the receive address from my wallet. So I can check it here. ADDR1 ends in GVC. I can go over to Eternal. If I click on the receive tab in Eternal, that will show me the current receive address, which is ADDR1 ending in GVC. That correlates with what we're seeing in the DApp as well. So I know I'm connected to the right wallet. I know which wallet I'll be spending from. And then if I wanted to buy into, I like the look of this infrastructure basket, actually. I hold some of each of these tokens already. So it's going to give me 35% of whatever I buy invested in World Mobile Token, 35% in IAG, 20% in NTX. World Mobile Token is the really, it's an internet provider being built out on Cardano. So using Cardano as the store of value, the means of storing identity for that internet provider. Their unique approach to internet service is through, or their most unique facet of it is that they're launching aerostats, which are like giant helium balloons, and mounting the telecoms equipment on those balloons. So instead of having to erect masts, which then are are only work at a certain height, because obviously you can't have masts way up in the air for flight paths and things like that. You've got to have more masts. So if you're going across really rough terrain, mountains and so on and so forth, then it's hard to put up masts. It's expensive. You're paying a lot for infrastructure. With an aerostat, you float a balloon attached to a cable, and it's much cheaper, much greater reach. And so you can do line of sight for far greater distances. So you can put relays of these aerostats and create a very large network over unindustrialized areas of the world really successfully. So they've launched them in Mozambique, Tanzania. Places wrong. I think it's Tanzania. Or is it Mozambique as well? Anyway, they've also got one launching in the US, and this is a sort of the start of the rollout of their tech. They are nailing it in terms of their milestones and achieving them. They're getting adoption. They're really competing with other telecoms companies, that are known globally, like AT&T and Virgin and Dish and so forth, and bringing the game to them. And they're using, so all their users on that network, if you're a provider, then you will be having a decentralized identity. So you control that identity. You can be paying across blockchain or with fiat. And one of the best things about it is that if you are you've got a bit of land in a village in remote rural Tanzania, you can put a mast up, pay for a mast we put up, maybe as a village project, and get together, buy a mast, and then everyone in the village or whoever's bought into it will own that mast. So it's their equipment. Anybody who then uses that mast to access the internet will pay a portion of their internet fees to World Mobile Token and a portion to the equipment owner. So you can actually start up your own telecoms business, almost like a little franchisee of World Mobile Token, no matter where you are in the world, which I think is a really good model of spreading the wealth, getting access to the internet, to banking, into the most rural places in developing nations, as well as improving access for people in the Highlands of Scotland or Alaska. So a really cool project. IAG, I've talked about a second ago. That is the storage layer for Cardano that's being built out. NTX is infrastructure for decentralized artificial intelligence bots. So if you are looking to run an artificial intelligence, and they're typically sort of narrowband artificial intelligence. So if you've got one that's very good at analyzing, maybe it's spell correcting, something like that, you can have a little AI running on an API instead of it all being hosted on your own infrastructure that you're paying for in Amazon Cloud or something. You can actually put it onto the NTX network. And again, every operator is around the world, just people like you and me who are running nodes. They can get a fee for running your API, and you get good rates for using that as a service, as opposed to paying a fortune out for your own infrastructure with Google, Microsoft, Amazon, or buying equipment for data centers. So yeah, maybe I want each of those tokens. I know each of those, spoken about them before, own already some of them, so we could buy that. We could decide how much we're going to put in. So I've only got 3.29 ADA, it says in this wallet. That's all it's going to recognize, even though I have 26. Let's just say max, so that'll be spending 329 ADA. If I pay to swap, that might not even work because it hasn't even got enough to do one NTX. Then that would pop up a payment window. Yeah, it's not going to let me because it's not even got enough to get a whole unit of NTX token. So I would need more tokens in it. Oh, it's picked up 10 now. Bizarre. Maybe I'll do it now. There we go. That's got enough. So that's adjusted the amounts I can get. I could now do a swap, and it will pop up. Then, no, didn't like that either. Dex Hunter literally launched a couple of weeks ago, so bear with it. Still got little bugs in it, obviously, but you can get the idea of how it's working. And there are lots of people who've used already. I just haven't as of yet. So that would be how you go about it, and that's typically how you work with any DApp. Go on, Dinesh.
Jonathan, sorry, it's about basket. Do you have to select I guess those projects yourself, right? And is there like already sort of like a customized packages we can purchase, or it's all solely up to you to choose the project?
These I haven't set any of these baskets up. They were there already, so I just happen to know about each of the tokens that they've put into these baskets. So yeah, these are all public access baskets. If you go on, I've never been to this website on this computer before, because I'm loaded in Windows at the moment. So yeah, I haven't done these, but I could create my own basket if I wanted to. That's the other thing. So I call it Blue Pools basket. And we could get some World Mobile token in there. Oh no, that didn't work. I clicked the wrong thing. Back to baskets. Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Add. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I'd have to click the star, maybe. Is that the one?
Yeah.
No.
Maybe it's just clicking start the star buttons.
Seem to be.
Yeah, click on the star buttons on that page, and then click add when you get to the end. You can select multiple tokens from there, I think.
No add button. Are you seeing an add button?
When you come out of that.
Just close this now.
Yeah.
But it's not letting me change.
Oh, it's not. Oh, it's not, is it? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I may have shown you Dux Hunter a little bit too early. But it's got huge potential and lots of innovation, which I'm very excited to see. And people are appreciating it because it started to grow in terms of its token price as well. So we done a quick look at
yeah, my question was gonna be if the product is released before it's been fully certified, as it were, doesn't give you a lot of confidence to make use of that, is it? Other than to play with it.
Yeah, no, I certainly with anything that hasn't been around for 6 months, then I wouldn't be putting a lot of value to it at all. 10 ADA, £3, I'm all right to do. But saying that, I have Spectrum Finance, which is a project, another project I've talked about recently, that has a brand new DEX. Spectrum Finance. Again, I haven't been to on this machine, so I can't remember what it's called. Spectrum.fi. This is a team that's been building out on Ergo. They're now starting to build on Cardano as well. So again, it's one of these cross interoperable applications. Launched their app. Really impressed. Again, it's a sort of a DEX. It's got a swap feature, but it also has the ability to choose chain. So I can jump from Ergo to Cardano and just operate. Again, the same UI, except on this one I can choose Ergo tokens, and on this one I can choose Cardano. So really stick there. Ergo DEX has been launched for a long time, so I'm happy to use this Spectrum Finance one. But they're not got innovations like token baskets and things like that on it yet. They are probably heading that way. And again, another high-rated project in my mind. Done some really good work. And they also have yield farming and a nice reward mechanism. So at the moment, they're launching on Cardano. So if you get in here and offer liquidity, so provide that token pair that I've talked about in the past, where you have actually become the bank. So when anyone swaps between those tokens, you're getting a portion of the fees that they're paying to use the service. If you want to get involved in that sort of thing, then at the moment they've got this liquidity bootstrapping event. So any token pairs you provide will have a boosted benefit to you that will be paid out to you in SPF tokens, which is their native token on Cardano. And it's not got a lot of value in it at the moment, but it's again one of those things you could maybe put 500 quid into a token pair here, claim your earnings, which might be 20% APR or something, and then you're also getting given a chunk of SPF tokens, which price could really exponentially increase over the bull run if this project is a longer term success. If it's not, could go to zero. So that's always your risk. But if it does go well, then this is something that could 10x, 20x, 50x in the next couple of years. So getting in at a token at this point, you earning it by doing for free effectively is a way to massively increase your potential of earnings while operating in the decentralized finance space. So you do have to get over hurdles in terms of your confidence in the tech, your belief in it as a technology of the future, and there is work to do probably mentally for you to get through those hoops and humps, and a load of learning to do to get confident with it and comfortable with it. But once you've done that, then there are lots of opportunities for earning, and will be in perpetuity. Certainly it's the levels we've got at the moment, we're still very young as an industry. So Spectrum Finance is one that I have. The Cardano DEX only launched again a month or so ago, and I've already started using it at volume. DEX Hunter, I'm just excited about at the moment. So yeah, I was going to show you the Tap Tools is my go-to place when I'm looking to start investigating a project or a token. So you can come on and see the Hunt token here. It's been at the top of the charts on Tap Tools for a long time. This is its recent price action. So you can see from launch, it didn't have a massive launch and then dip like most tokens. It's actually come in low 0.06, and we're now sitting at 0.3. So significant bump just in the past. It's not even a month yet, is it? So yeah, one to watch. And the trading volume is yeah 1.6 million ADAs worth of Hunt tokens being traded yesterday. And yeah, so in terms of the Tap Tools charts, it's been sitting up in this #1 position for a good couple of weeks now. So a lot of people very interested in it, and it's in fact attracted a whole load of liquidity and token movements out of the other dexes, particularly the muesli swap dex. People rushed from there into Hunt. However, it always ebbs and flows. You can win both ways because now money's flowed back into Milk, and the Milk token's back up at 12.8, and it had dipped to 6, I think, at some point. So even that, if you'd got in at the right point, and you could have doubled your money. So it's crazy world compared to your traditional investment world. So Max Dex Hunter, I expect to see more exciting features coming out. They're a really innovative team, punching above their weight, and coming at pace, and a really slick user interface. So the ability to create so that even in the swaps, which I did do yesterday, if you're looking to So say I wanted to take my World Mobile token and trade them for ADA. Oh, that's new again. Yeah, so I know it's because I'm on stock. That's right. So if you see on the swap for my 6,000 World Mobile tokens, I get 3,000 ADA. And this shows you a breakdown of the exchanges that the transaction will be passed through. So in this instance, it's just doing it all through World Mobile token. That's got the largest amount of liquidity in terms of World Mobile token. But let's try another token. Let's have a look at. I think I did milk. Probably haven't got any of those. So if I was taking 50 milk, it would do it all to min swap again. I had 500. Then it starts 5,000. It starts to introduce other liquidity pools. So what it's doing here is saying, okay, there's this much milk available at a decent price in the milk order book, the MusiSwap order book. There is this much of milk available in the DeFi finance order book. And if we're going to get the rest of it, then we can look at the MusiSwap. So MinSwap, DeFi finance, and MusiSwap. It's going to use three exchanges that have got different pools of liquidity of milk and ADA. So it's going to access all three of those pools to make sure that I'm getting the best price and a decent amount of liquidity to be able to fulfill this order. And it's doing legwork for you here. That's, if you're a big trader, is a real a real saver in terms of energy and effort. So if I wanted to trade 5,000 milk tokens, I would manually have to go to each of those exchanges, do 264 milk on this one, 260 on that one, and then all the rest on the MusiSwap platform if I wanted to actually see those orders met. Because that's where, within the price bracket that I'm looking for, if I'm going to buy or sell that much of milk token, then I'm going to have to go to multiple places to fulfill those orders. So that's where you're starting to see the effect of multiple exchanges are necessary to have their own little pools of liquidity to be able to carry out your swaps. And if you're trading large amounts, then you're going to have to go to 3 different vendors, effectively, or 3 different places. Whereas now with Dex Hunter, it's just aggregated all those exchanges, evaluated their orders, and says, yeah, I can do all those transactions for you in one from here. And again, that's the power of the UTXO model in Cardano, is that you can actually pay for one fee, one network fee, and interact with 3 different exchanges and 2 different tokens, and all that work, all those transaction information, who I'm buying for, when, at what price, how many tokens are available here and there, is all being done for me just from this one slick interface within Dex Hunter. So really cool features. And I have used this now, worked seamlessly. So there are aspects of it which are solid. The basket's still being worked on, obviously. But again, that very much mirrors the longer term available features in MinSwap, for example. So if I was trading milk on MusiSwap, then I've shown you this multi-dex routing. That's the same feature, effectively. Allow you to place orders across, aggregate orders from multiple liquidity pools. And so yeah, if I'm going to do 5,000 on here, then it's picked up on I don't see that. So 92% on MusiSwap, bowl of muesli, and a poor small 7% on MinSwap. So even within MusiSwap, it's found 2 exchanges it's happy to work with. How do I see the rest of them? Yeah, here. But it is actually checking against MusiSwap's order book, DeFi Finance, MinSwap, SunnySwap, and Wing Riders. That's all it's got access to. Dex Hunter has already got access to more. I don't know where to see the list of all the ones it can interact with, but the fact that it's pulled up DeFi Finance in here means it's looking at more than MusiSwap is already. So again, all these little features are creeping in. The DEXs are starting to compete with each other, which brings efficiency, and ultimately better functionality for us and better price action as well. Cool. I think that's all I wanted to touch on in DEX Hunter. So one to keep an eye on, and if you're thinking about, just sticking 20 quid into the token, then it might be one that could do really well.
I think that's a really good functionality, Jonathan. The ability for the single platform to have access to multiple pools or multiple sources of purchases. That's a really good functionality, because I've got Swissborg exchange. I'm on a Swissborg exchange as well, and when I purchase any tokens on Swissborg, it then comes along and says, we bought some from Kraken and bought some coins from somewhere else. So it does the work for you behind the scenes.
Right. Yeah, and it's a necessary feature, and now we're starting to see it. Not in a
this is like
giant platform,
example of
but a little one.
interoperability, and from in a different form.
So yeah, doing a lot of work for you in one nice slick interface.
Yeah.
So really good. And yeah, and again, you can just bring it down to nice, simple, turn the pro features off. And it's, very cool. Now, there are some provisos, obviously, with new DEXs, new platforms. They've all got different fees. So I have seen some posts that DEX Hunter is doing a percentage in terms of its fee that it's claiming. So if you're doing a large exchange, then this may not work, or the cuts that DEX Hunter would take will work out more than if you were using muesli swap DEX aggregator, for example. And so again, it's down to you to be aware. And obviously, if you're doing small trades, then DEX Hunter is probably going to work out better, because it's muesli swap may have a fixed fee. I'm not 100% sure. Well, a fixed fee, and DEX has got a percentage fee. That'll be better on small orders. If you're doing large orders, then suddenly, a percentage, 1% of 5,000 is a significant chunk of ADA, compared to maybe a fixed fee of only 1 ADA. So that's something to watch out for. But again, all new, all these will mature and refine over time, especially over the next couple of years, as we see. At the moment, all these teams are releasing features and functionality, and I don't know where they're finding the money, because they're paying expensive developers to build this stuff out, and there's no money in crypto markets at the moment. It's all been washed out with the controversies and the bear market we've seen in the last couple of years. So they're doing really well to get these features out there at all, and it just shows you the appetite that developers have for building on this platform, building on Cardano, and where how that will result in the next bull cycle. Cool. So that was DEX Hunter. Any more questions? Shout up on that.
Maybe there's lots of, maybe we don't see it, but there'll be lots of venture capitalists looking to invest their funds into projects, and when they see these type of ideas, that's probably what they're investing in.
Yeah, certainly.
So we don't see that from token sales, but we see it from development enhancements.
Development projects, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's one thing that has not gone the way, gone in Cardano's favor. In terms of building on Cardano, it's been much harder to raise VC money as a Cardano project than it has on like Solana, for example. Solana has got oodles of VC money in it, which is very good for their developer ecosystem. Cardano, not so much. And I think that stems from a different sort of mindset. So Solana was very much raised and developed as a sort of VC-backed entity, lots of opportunities for VC money to get significant portions of liquidity and projects, good exposure. Cardano, the launch of Cardano was very much about private sale to direct to investors rather than to venture capitalists firms. There was no large portion of tokens reserved for VCs or anything like that in terms of ADA itself, and that seems to have created a model that's borne out in the other native tokens on Cardano as well. So, and in fact, I think the largest funded project is also one of the biggest failures. So Ardana, which we talked about a few weeks ago, they raised $10 million of investment capital to build well, it was like a full money market, so lending, borrowing, swapping, and they burnt through the money. The young guy heading the team up, too much money sitting in his account, misappropriated funds, and the team ended up delivering on extremely little. So a whole lot of VC money got lost. So, VC funding doesn't always lead to good results. And I think people who are hungry and working hard, like probably these DEX hunting, I don't know anything about them, but I get the impression that people who are releasing now are really working hard with very little resource. So when that model switch round and there's some money flooding into the market, we're going to see again a massive increase tick up in terms of release of features and products. But the amount we're seeing even now is incredible. So the next project we're going to talk about is one that I've been most anticipating for the last 2 years probably. Axo Trade started out as Maladex, a very early community built project or team gathered around. I think it had some Project Catalyst funding to start with. They launched as Maladex. Well, they started out as Maladex. They rebranded partway through. They have shown the public absolutely nothing. There's been no hints of what their what their user interface will look like or anything. They've just been talking about the features, and their feature set has been extremely exciting. And then this week they launched their preview. In a couple of weeks they launch on mainnet, and it's an absolutely staggering piece of work. So again, just looks pretty much like your typical trading platform. This is on the Cardano preview network, which is a testnet, so it's not real ADA, it's not real Axo token. These are all test ADA, so there's no real store of value here, just fake money, monopoly money really. But all features that work here are one-to-one mapped to working on mainnet when they launch. So if you do find bugs in this platform, that's going to be one to point out, because they've had a couple of years of solid building on this and shown everybody nothing. And I've spent maybe half an hour looking at it, and it just is staggering piece of work. So we've got a full-blown trading view integration, but with color branded charts and everything. So you've got all your features with swapping between bars, line, etc. You've got a list of stats up here, which are pulling in the market conditions for these token pairs. So much fit in one page even. We've got the order book shown here, so that's now showing you orders that are waiting to be filled, selling and buying. We've got the market trades, when the last ones happened, and the volumes that were traded. Again, this is all very typical stuff we're seeing on MusiSwap and MintSwap and all the rest of them. Get into the actual swapping portion of it. You can buy and sell with these nice big clear buttons up here. You can select your volume. It's got market orders and limit orders. And also, we start to see hints of more things now. So you can actually pull in strategies that are used by heavy hitter traders in other platforms, established platforms like on the stock market and so on and so forth. This is all just working for Cardano tokens, and I don't know what 90% of these strategies and methods are. So limit if touched, market if touched, box top if touched, trailing limit if touched, trailing market if touched. These are all, like you can have limit market orders, stop orders, trailing stops, where the price that you get out follows the price as the market climbs, and if it drops back down again, then you sell. All really ways of maximizing your earnings from trades, and it's got a myriad of these tools built in, strategies that big traders use that you can now start to learn about. It's even got DCA, so you can put on, say, $1,000 and say just every week buy so much of this token, buy so much of this token, and it will chunk its way through your deposits. And in fact, what happens if I switch to that? Yeah, so it will now show you frequency, how many. So I want to buy every 1 day. I want to spend 50 ADA to buy Axo tokens. It's got the time that these orders will be in force. So until they're cancelled, as in forever, until they actually get filled, or just for the week, just for months, for the day, for dates in between this period. So if you know there's news coming out, you can take your orders offline automatically and then put them back on after the news events. It's got these credits, which I don't understand about yet. So I think that's like if you put in a chunk of ADA, so you're doing a DCA, then I think those credits are what you've put on chain, and then it will use up those credits to fulfill your DCA orders. DCA is dollar cost averaging, so where you're buying a fixed amount every set period of time, and that's a good way to even out your exposure. So markets rise and fall. If you're just buying at set time each time for a set amount, then you're going to get the average of the highs and the lows. It's got asset information aggregated down here as well, and yeah, really slick thing. Now here we've got your open and closed and pending orders within each of the strategies that you've chosen. So if you'd chosen the strategy up here, then it will show up under your strategies and the trades down here. You got your full-blown trades view as well, as in across the board. And then if you want to actually figure out and learn, get some education on what these strategies are, you come up to the top, and I've got more ones up here. So this is the markets one, so a full-blown market view like you get on most platforms. Trade is back on this trade screen again. Strategies will now show you how those strategies are playing out as implemented. So and again, I am not a trader, so I don't know what these mean, but I'm just very excited to know that these tools are available for Cardano native tokens, or will be available for Cardano native tokens within the next couple of weeks. I suspect they're going to launch at the Cardano Summit, so I imagine you'll probably see them on stage, Dinesh. I forget his name. What's his name? But he looks like a typical computer geek. So overweight, greasy hair, talks with a nasal voice. But actually, he's probably nothing like that at all. But he's certainly an intelligent, an incredible mind, the head developer behind it. So if he's up on stage, you'll get a good showing, I'm sure.
You mean they'll have a stall as well, I'm assuming?
Sorry,
I'm assuming they might have a stall. They can speak to them. Yeah,
quite likely. I imagine most of the keynote speakers have probably got stands as well. And certainly, how it's like at the summit, you can wander around and bump into anybody and everybody, Charles Hoskinson included. So
it looks incredible, actually, doesn't it?
It's still shaping up really nicely. I'm getting quite jealous.
So, Jonathan, is this like it's not a trading exchange like Binance. It's actually a DEX, which means that you swap on this platform. Is that what it is?
Yeah, this is all decentralized.
Yes,
So
so
all
it's
your-
just swapping one for another.
Yeah, and all on public chain. So you're not putting money into Binance. They're not sitting in someone else's wallet. It's all staying in your wallet, and you'll still be able to execute the same level of quality strategies, trading strategies, as you would get from Ninja Trading or
Okay.
some of these really in-depth trading platforms.
All right. And so do we know what sort of fees they're going to charge you?
Again, all these this is all it's incredible. All this is free and open for everybody to use. The trading fees are just the same trading fees as you'd be experiencing in any DeFi. So MusiSwap, Dex Hunter, MinSwap. You'll just be paying, a small portion of each of the trades. But you're getting all these tools available for free. The way they'll make their money is by having their Axo token, which will be their native token, which hasn't actually launched yet. They're on an ISPO, so I didn't participate in that. One of my regrets. Wish I had, because I think their token is going to do extremely well. But yeah, this is their token Axo, and this is all fake numbers as well, because this is the testnet. But I can see this token doing extremely well very quickly. So it's one to keep an eye on tap tools as well. It may just be one worth looking at, doing some due diligence on. But in terms of their ability to earn, a lot of it will be based around the tokenomics of this Axo token. And if you are a deliverer of quality technology, you have a native token that's like the fuel for the platform, then they're going to do well. They will eat and sleep well. You don't need to worry about that. But you can look for a tool that best suits your needs. And at the moment, I've been very happy with MusiSwap, and I've toyed with the other one, Spectrum, and Vi Finance as well. I've had to go at Dex Hunter's the latest one that I've had to play with, but I'm itching to get started with Axo Trade. And this is a real tool for full-blown trading geeks. So Archie, you might enjoy it. It's got all these strategies, market making, so bounded market making. You can create your own strategies. So like on TradingView, people can upload scripts that will change the charts and show you different bounded boxes around pricing, things like that. These can all start to be done and implemented here as well. Again, indexes of tokens, so that will probably be a bit like Dex Hunter's baskets. And this composer I started to play with, and it's kind of blown my mind. Effectively, what I can tell is that this is a user interface to create your own trading bots, but exactly to your specifications. So you can add in the token of your choice. You can add in variables. So let's call this fluid trading. We're going to take an asset as a variable to start with. So I'm going to look at trading the book token, which is the next project I want to talk to you about. Description token. Where did it put it now? Yeah, sorry, I should have called that. Now that asset, I can. How do I add it in? Again, I've come to you too early to start playing with these things, but I'm too excited. So it's here. one asset. Okay, that's found my book token. So default import for book. So now this is an asset on chain. Oh, sorry, not on chain. This is an asset on this composer, and I can create a partition. I can't figure out how to use it, but you can drag. And there we go. So now that's got connection between the asset, the book token, as represented here, and a partition. So effectively, you can set up all different parameters and algorithms. So say I wanted to buy the book token if the price falls below a certain amount, I'll buy this volume. Then I can create that here. And then if the price rises above this particular volume I want to sell, you could say at the start of the so say 8 a.m. UK time, which is when the market's open, and professional traders who use London Stock Exchange come online. That's when the volumes really tend to increase and the price starts to travel really fast. And so traders will have strategies of when the market opens, if the price rises and falls this much in the first half hour, they'll set then a buy order if it goes outside of that box, because that's probably the direction of travel for the next couple of hours, or if it goes below, buy it at that. And so you can now start to create those sorts of strategies in your own algorithms with a nice GUI to control them about what happens where, and you can actually create your whole order flow from scratch and then apply that to fill it with funds from your wallet, and then it will just execute those trades automatically for you. So a really granular, fully comprehensive trading bot builder just now able to be run from the browser, which is just incredible, and all again accessible for free from launch. Really exciting stuff. You can validate your trades, see if you've got problems with them. It needs an algorithm here, it needs a category. It's got debugging tools. Just mind blowing. And yeah, my anticipation has been fully borne out. They were talking a big game, and I wasn't expecting this level from scratch. So incredible, really, really amazing. So again, if you never use this trading platform, you may want to think about their Axo token, because where one project is successful, then a token could match that excitement. Oh, Yarek, yeah, that's his name. Thanks, Archie. Yeah, proper geek. So yeah, Axo Trade, really cool. Very excited. I want to show Luca this because I think he'll be excited too. There we go. And touching on the last project that I wanted to look at today, book.io, which I've covered recent time.
Jonathan, just before you move on.
Yeah,
just
sorry.
Quickly. So then once this is released, let's just say, and it's all working perfectly. So you could use what we're saying is you could use this just like another exchange, couldn't you? Is that the right way of thinking?
Yeah, exactly. So any features you've seen on Binance or TradingView,
Swissborg, or yeah,
you can now do exactly the same. Not exactly, but different user interface, but all those capabilities that you've seen elsewhere, you now have within the Cardano native token space.
And is this decentralized?
All decentralized. You're retaining
Okay.
full control of all the tokens that you're putting into it. So this is a smart contract platform. There's no, like Axo Trade, never have custody of any funds. You're putting so when you set up your orders, your dollar cost averaging or whatever strategy you pick up on, you'll be, and I think they're calling them credit. So when you're putting the tokens into the platform, you're not putting it into a Binance wallet, the effective equivalent of a Binance wallet. You're putting it into a smart contract, and that smart contract is on chain at launch and can never be changed afterwards. So whenever you place your assets into a smart contract, the conditions of that contract at the point of it going on chain, they're immutable. They cannot be changed, cannot be tampered with. So you're dealing with a very, very shallow risk profile compared to having to put your money into a bank, into a trading platform for those trades to then be executed. This is the other side. This is proper DeFi, where you're putting them into a smart contract, which you if you were a coder, you can go through and audit the code yourself. But we know that these smart contracts have already been audited by third-party teams, so you can put your tokens into those with confidence. If you're willing to put your tokens into a smart contract for an exchange, a swap on MuseSwap, MinSwap, then effectively you've got different software developers who've worked on them, but they've got the same level of trust. If they write a bad smart contract, it will be exposed very quickly because everybody's looking over each other's shoulders to try and bring them down. The smart contract source code is open source. Most of the time, if not all the time, and the behavior of the smart contract is all auditable on chain. So if you don't touch this for 6 months, and it has 6 months of perfect record, it does exactly what it says it's going to do, then that gives you a very high assurance that it will carry on behaving exactly the same way forever. So that version of the contract can never be changed after that point. They can have upgrades, but they're new contracts that you can then start to use at the back end of this platform. But the original ones that you interacted with, they will always be there, can always be interacted with the same conditions. And that's the beauty of real DeFi as compared to centralized exchanges, centralized finance. There's very little difference really between the banking system, stock market, and Binance, and even Kraken. The moral scale of the leaders behind those communities vastly different. But in terms of the mechanics of how it works, you're putting your money into somebody else's hands to then execute trades with. If you put your money into the hands of Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, which was FTX was the same size and volume and power and influence as Binance when FTX collapsed. And in fact, it's coming out in the trials that FTX were trying desperately to destroy Binance, and that's why Binance ended up pulling out, and then the whole exposure of the actual vulnerabilities with FTX was exposed, which led to its collapse. But that is a whole custody arena that I don't want to be involved in heavily. You're putting your money into somebody else's hands. You don't know what intentions are of those people, as opposed to proper DeFi, working with your own wallet. The assets in my internal wallet, I'm the only person that can spend those assets. Nobody else has my seed phrase. Nobody else can touch them. I can choose to put those into a smart contract. And that smart contract is code. It's written on chain. It can never be changed. If it's behaving now in one way, then it will behave like that forever. And that's that's where I'm much happy to place my trust than into humans' hands. I'm placing it into predetermined, pre-agreed code. So there's a significant risk shift from having someone who can, having to trust somebody to carry out these trades, and actually trusting the code that's carrying them out for you. And so this whole platform It's giving you the same tools and abilities as you'd get from Binance, but built right into DeFi. It's proper DeFi. So you're never giving your money over. You're putting it into smart contracts, or keeping custody of it in your own wallet. And the money will always leave those contracts back to the place that you're telling it to go to. So if you're doing a swap, you're saying, I'm putting this much in, I expect to get back this much. And when the conditions of the smart contract are fulfilled, that is exactly what happens. So yeah, this is proper DeFi as opposed to most of what people understand to be crypto, which is Binance, Kraken. But, you know, I don't have a problem with those. There's a great guys, very good tools, and we wouldn't be here without them. But if we're looking for the future financial operating system for the world, we need it to be out of the control of individuals, out of the jurisdiction of you know, single players and stuff like that. So yeah, this is the way to do it. Go on, Utan or Jaya, not sure who it is.
Oh, sorry, it's Utana, yeah?
Yeah, Utan.
Zandan, one thing I didn't see here is any other, like, it's only native ADA tokens, or you can use any other token as well?
So these are all just Cardano native tokens. So yes, these are all just within the Cardano ecosystem, and all the tokens you see are those available here.
So if you want to compete with Binance, then I think, do you think they'll eventually in the future they will add more tokens apart from ADA native, or it's going to be like?
Well, again, you've got variations of other tokens from other chains in here as well already. So like IBTC is from Indigo Protocol, and that's a so it's a collateralized synthetic, which means that somebody has said, okay, I want to have a reserve token or a token on Cardano that matches the price movement of Bitcoin. So if I was holding Bitcoin, I'm confident that it's the most powerful, highest market cap coin out there. I'm happy to risk my holdings in Bitcoin, but I want to interact with the Cardano space. So you're effectively using Bitcoin as your think of it like a reserve token. Instead of going back to US dollars, you're just taking it back to Bitcoin because that's a safe place for you. So if you're that confident in Bitcoin's price, then you can say, I'm going to put a whole load of ADA as collateral against a synthetic Bitcoin. That Bitcoin will track the price of Bitcoin globally. And if I want to get my ADA back out of it, then I can burn that Bitcoin and get my ADA back out. And that's a way of storing effectively your asset into another asset that's tracking the price of Bitcoin. So effectively within Cardano ecosystem, wherever you see IBTC, you can pretty much think of it, that is a Bitcoin.
It's the same like a wrap BTC, like wrap Binance, like.
Yeah, just in Ethereum, we get wrap tokens. Yeah, it's a bit like that. But there are slight differences. So wrapped tokens in certain platforms will have will not be collateralized. They could just be Oracle driven. So their pricing is matched to the price of Ethereum or Bitcoin, but they don't have any collateral backing them. So you're relying on the ability to redeem them for the actual tokens based on wherever you've minted that token. So with Indigo Protocol, you are putting your own tokens into the back of them, or you're trusting that somebody else has put their own token into the back of it, so you know that it's got collateral sitting behind it. So for example, whenever you go to the bank and you put money into your bank, you're putting in £100. All the banking system is based now on fractional reserve. So they take your £100 that you've given them to look after, and they take 90 of those pounds, and they'll go and take that and lend it out to your neighbor or invest it into government bonds or something like that. And so actually in the bank vaults, they've only kept 10% of your money. So if you go and ask for your money back, then they'll take everybody else's 10% and say, okay, let's gather all we need and give you back your £100. If everybody goes to the bank and asks for their money back, at the same time, they won't be able to deliver on it, because they've got 90% of their assets tied up in either being lent out to other people or in government bonds, or loans to governments in return for interest, or invested in stock markets, or any other financial metrics out there. So if there's a bank run, that's why you see, if there's a bank run, the banks collapse and they have to get bailed out by the government. So that is representative of the financial system that the whole world runs on, and that's equivalent to wrapped tokens within blockchains. Well, that's how I think of them anyway. So you've got a certain amount of tokens backing some of these wrapped bitcoins, some of these synthetic bitcoins, and if everybody goes to claim them, then there may not be enough reserves to pay everybody out in the original token. So I don't consider wrapped tokens or synthetic tokens to be the exact equivalent of the actually holding a Bitcoin in my wallet. I'm more comfortable with than holding an IBTC in my wallet. But I do know that I can certainly take an IBTC to the Indigo platform, burn that IBTC, and get back all the ADA equivalent at the current price. That's the sort of assurance you've got in the price action of some of these wrapped tokens. So yeah, they're equivalent. They're not exactly the same thing. And each of them, whether wrapped or synthetics, have slightly different mechanisms behind them to sort of guarantee that you'll be able to redeem your tokens. But if you've got somebody who's willing to take Bitcoin at face value, an IBTC at face value, you can swap them and trade them, and so on and so forth. So they are, effectively the same within the ecosystem. So you have got that layer of interoperability almost between chains, but it's only in terms of representative value, not in actual on-chain assets. What I did show you earlier was the Spectrum Finance DEX, where you can actually see the Ergo blockchain and carry out trades on there, or the Cardano blockchain and carry out trades on there. And when the Rosen bridge is up and running, you'll be able to move real Cardano between Ergo, real Ergo between Cardano, and real native tokens Cardano from Ergo and Ergo to Cardano. And so that whole actual assets representative will be swapping between the two chains. And so that's real interoperability that we're touching on, I think, what you're asking about. But currently the ones on Axo are just all Cardano. So you're staying within the one blockchain ecosystem. But in the future, like we started out talking about at the beginning of the call, we will have all chains working together, Polkadot, Solana even, Cardano. But we're not quite there yet. So yeah, if you are confident in the Cardano ecosystem and the native tokens there, then yeah, dive in here. I'm very happy to see this about to launch, and I'm sure they will launch. They will actually launch in at the summit. Cool. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it did. Thank you. Yeah, it did.
Great. So the last thing I wanted to touch on is book.io, which I've talked about a few times. There was a token sale on, and they had an innovative token sale mechanism where they've got a fixed amount available for people to buy. They put it up for sale, and the price increase on a set schedule over the time of the sale. So, thank you very much. So by the end of the sale, it was much more expensive than if you got in at the beginning. And they did that because they're thinking about the tokenomics. They're thinking about the price action on the token itself. They want to ensure that the market is the one that's setting the price for the token. So however much value we perceive the book token to have, is, as a collective, is how much value it has. And that's another thing to, it's the case for all tokens, is that this is all just made up stuff. None of this is real. Like, no, it's all imaginary. If you think about the price of a pint of milk, that is imaginary. That is based on what somebody is willing to pay for it. It's not actually the value of the milk. The value of the milk is the nutritional benefit it gives your body. And a pint of milk to a dehydrated, starving person is much higher than all the gold in the world. But that's all relative. So the market price, market conditions of these assets, real world, virtual, synthetic, this is all just in the heads of human beings. And so the book token guys, when they're designing their book token launch, they've been thinking, okay, how do we ensure that the price of the token is measured, is sensible, is not inflated, correlates as accurately as possible with what people's real perception of the value of the token is. And so they did that as a sort of experiment. The price of their token raised, the sale price of the token raised throughout their pre-launch of their token sale. And so if you got in early, it means you were very keen, but you had no idea whether it would all sell or not. So you didn't know whether long-term it was going to be success. If you got in late, it was because you thought, yeah, there's a load of people buying in before me, I'm going to jump in here. But by that point, the price had already risen a lot. So the point that you got in on the sale would, indicated how confident you were in that token as a whole. And of course, as the sale went on, people got more confident, but the price was going up. So that was a very measured sale. I think they ended up with 6 million or something of the tokens unsold by the end of it. But yeah, if you want to have a look at the token and the tokenomics behind it, then this is this is the page to look at. They've got a whole load of utility being built into the token that they consider really solid. And what they are trying to do is become effectively like the Waterstones, the Amazon.com, the Barnes and Noble, the Penguin publishers, everything that represents the publishing industry, they want to become the on-chain equivalent of that. So they are minting books on-chain as NFTs, and they've been doing that for the past year or so, consistently. They're building up more and more of the books, the actual digital books they've got. If you buy one of their NFT books, then you can sell it on, and the authors or the publishing house who own that book will get a percentage of the secondary market fee. So secondary sales are being catered for. The money is flowing back to the creator, which is great because it starts to encourage individual authors, individual artists to actually get a revenue stream long term from their books without the number of middlemen that we have had in the traditional publishing industry. They're bringing on board authors individually and also publishers as a whole. So publishing houses are now starting to come on board, and they're working with, or certainly in talks with, several of the large ones. I can't remember the name of the largest one, but they've secured the deal already, and I think there are 10,000 titles coming on to be minted as NFTs in the coming weeks and months. This is their mint page, so their bookstore. So all the ones on here are books they've already minted. So then, they started out just by minting books that were already in print and out of copyright. So you've got your classics on here like Shakespeare and Lewis Carroll, and they could then, because there was no copyright, they could distribute them as NFTs, sell them as NFTs on here. They're cross-chain again, so you've got Ethereum represented, you've got Polygon, you've got Cardano native, of course, because that's where they started, minting on Cardano, and the books are minted on the platform, and there's a fixed run, so a bit like a publishing house would have a fixed run of their first edition books, and those first edition books over time become more and more valuable. So if you can get your hands on a first edition Gutenberg Bible in the real world, you're, you know, extremely lucky, and you'd have to be extremely wealthy. They mirrored that. The first book they minted was a Gutenberg Bible, and so you could get an NFT of a Gutenberg Bible on chain, and that is growing in value. So I think it minted at like I can't actually remember, but it was like 48 or something, I think it was. Let's see if I can find it, because that would be interesting. No, that's the native, that's the fungible token. I want to look at the NFT Book Explorer. Find Gutenberg here, or Bible. Here we go. So there are 10,000 of the Gutenberg Bibles that they minted. They're going to tell us the mint price. $180 ADA. So that was the price that anybody and everybody could go in. Those first 10,000 atoms were able to mint for 180 ADA. They said that the book token, the Gutenberg Bible NFT, was going to have utility on their platform when they launched. They then launched, and they're now starting to release utility for it. Also, now they've said that if you hold a Gutenberg Bible, today is a day that they're going to do an airdrop. So you're going to get given a load of their book token, which is their fungible token. So that's more like ADA or the pound coin, as opposed to an NFT, which is an individual item, like a published version of the Bible. And the price of the book token, on the back of all these sort of rumors and talks of value, has now rocketed in price. So if we go to JPEG Store, which is like the marketplace for the biggest marketplace for NFTs, you can see that in the past, I don't know what period of time this is, 24 hours, the volume of sales of the Gutenberg Bible have gone up 100%. And the floor price for the token is now 1,025. So you could mint it for 180, and now the cheapest you can get hold of one is 1,025 ADA. So you know, 5x, 6x already. And on top of this, you're now going to be eligible to receive 20,000 of their book token, of their fungible token. We don't know what the price action of that book token is going to be, but all the things they talk about is pointing at, you know, a very successful project. It's gaining real world notice and signing deals with real world book publishers. So pretty exciting times. And you know, some of these Bibles they're going for crazy prices. That's kind of sort the other way. Sort high to low. One's listed for 18 million. I don't think it's going to sell, but you know, it's still a significant number around the sort of 10,000 mark, which is you know, and every one of them has got a unique Bible cover, which is, you know, so every single of these 10,000 Bibles has got a slightly different cover, and so the ones that have got the most full covers tend to be attracting the highest prices. But then again, you've got some up here which are almost empty, and they're still asking for a fortune. So yeah, again, it's all human perception as to what value these books hold. But in terms of actual utility that the team are delivering, they're starting to roll it out now. So if you're at all interested in the book token, in the NFTs that they're releasing, and so I've got the book app on my phone now. I bought a Metal Monster, which was a classic book off them. I minted it for 40 ADA. I don't know what the price is now. Probably it's about the same. But I can now read that on my phone from the ebook reader, and it's owned by me, so I'll always be able to read that book. If you have an Amazon subscription and you use your Amazon e-reader, if you stop paying for your subscription, you lose access to all your books. So this is, again, the difference between DeFi world and centralized world. Amazon own the books, they hold them, they own them. If you stop paying for your subscription to Amazon, you lose access to your entire library. With NFTs, they sit in your wallet. That is your book, that is your rights. You own and hold that asset. So that's one of the sort of significant ways the blockchain is starting to change the asset space. And when we talk about Web3, we're really talking about moving from the Web 1, which was really about information online and information sharing. Web 2 was all about interacting with each other and buying and selling online. Web 3 is now all going to be about representing digital equivalents of you and your identity, and exchanging and storing real value. So instead of having your money tied up in a bank account and having to take it out or use middlemen to pay for stuff online, now you actually have your money online on chain that you can directly, with no middlemen, buy and purchase assets. So, I think within the next 5 years, we'll be paying for our groceries with crypto and all the rest of it. And the sort of move of having your assets in subscription services, so your music in Spotify, your books on Amazon, will move from that hopefully to actually having the NFT equivalents of our music collections and of our book collections actually sitting in our self-sovereign wallets. So we will own our assets again, as opposed to paying centralized entities to drip feed them to us, which seems to me a much healthier state of being than the one we're currently in, because we're kind of at the mercy of these centralized entities at the moment. If you fall out of favor with Google, you're deplatformed by YouTube or anything like that, then you've lost access to your livelihood in many people's cases around the world now. So we want to move away from that and actually start to retain ownership of digital assets ourselves. And that's where things like IAG will be the storage layer for storing all these assets. And it's decentralized, so no one person will control that storage mechanism. It won't be Google board deciding what shows up on their storage mechanism. So YouTube is just a storage layer effectively, and they have an interface onto that storage layer. Instead of putting that onto YouTube, you may publish your videos onto a decentralized network like IAG, Iagon. And if you've got 1 billion people or 1 million people controlling the nodes of the Iagon network, as opposed to the 50 people in Google controlling the YouTube storage layer, then which one is more likely to deplatform you if you say something controversial or speak the truth? Your truth is going to be the centralized entity that's under the behest of regulators and governments, rather than every aspect of humanity represented across the world being in control of keeping your assets on chain online. So I end up down a rabbit hole again, as I always do, but there we go. So if you are at all interested in book, then do have a look at the book token, the fungible token, as a possible investable asset. It's not on here yet because they haven't done their token generation event until today, I think it is. Oh no, it started to show up already. Is this the legit one though? So that Book.io Gutenberg Bible is a real NFT, but a fungible token. This I think might be new. I think that might be the one we're actually looking at. And there are scammers out there who create equivalents that try and look and sound like it before it was actually available. So I think you can safely ignore these 3 low volume ones and just look at this one. And this looks like it's going to represent the actual book token. So if you hold a Gutenberg Bible, you're going to be airdropped 20,000 book tokens. So I don't know what that equates to in terms of pounds. You normally do the maths for me, Dinesh, at this point. So, let's do Windows calculator. What you saying? So we're at 0.168. That is the current price, accurate current price.
Good, isn't it? 3,300. That's really good.
The 3,360 ADA.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Will be airdropped to you, which is
$840.
$100. Wait, I done that right? 700 quid. Wow. So if that is the correct token price for book and where it's sitting currently, it's just appeared today, so it could. I think it is. We'll see where that price goes, but it could be that the. I mean, it may go up from here. It may go down. We don't know, but yeah, a significant airdrop from the team, and you know, an indicator because they've had this measured experimental approach to their token launch. I'm very confident in their price action long term, heading upwards. So, could be one for you to do some due diligence on. In terms of doing due diligence, I want to hear the latest word from their CEO or MD, or whatever you like to call your head honchos within businesses. You can have a look at this this video released on Twitter. I'll give you a really good insight into where they wanted to take it. There you go. This is the face of the new world of publishing. It's very different from corporate America from 20 years ago, but I think we're in a good place. And this video talks about token distribution, the fungible token distribution, and also other releases or other features that will be coming with the Gutenberg Bible. So even with the price of the Bible being 1,000 ADA, the cheapest one, it's looking like it's already paid off for anybody invested in the past, you know, up until this point in time. I don't know I don't think you'll be eligible for the airdrop from today onwards, if you buy after this point. But yeah, anybody out there who does hold a Gutenberg Bible, go and have a look at your airdrop collection point, because there may be something waiting for you. And they're also doing in ISPO, so they're going to be launching some stake pools. So if you want to take some of your ADA, stake it to a book pool, you'll earn book token off the back of that. So if you don't want to pay anything, you're not looking to invest, but don't mind exchanging some of your ADA rewards for book token rewards, then you could look at staking to their pool. And again, with Eternal Wallet and Lace and all the rest of them, you don't have to put all your ADA into an ISPO. You can just do a portion. So if you are, the way I organize my portfolio is that I have my foundational layer where I hold the bulk of my ADA in ADA, and I don't want it to leave that because I consider ADA to be the safest asset on Cardano. And you know, I don't hold any Bitcoin currently. I hold it ADA instead because I'm confident in it. But I am interested in, and so I want to earn ADA rewards with the bulk of it and keep it as ADA. But I do put some of that into staking with ISPO pools when they're ones that turn up that I like the look of. I've actually bought some of the book token in pre-sale, so I don't know if I'll bother with the ISPO. Just stake to fluid pool rather than over to the book pools. But yeah, if any of you guys want to, then that's want to get hold of the book token for free, then that's the way to do it as well. Low risk. Good, but yeah, do watch this video. I'll drop the link to the chat again. and you can get a feel for the project and where they're headed. And just looking at the sort of comment thread, Patrick Toller is the guy behind NMaker, which is the largest NFT delivery platform or minting platform on Cardano. Real OG, again, Catalyst, partially Catalyst funded. MCJ is a stake pool operator, I think. It's MCJ, been around a good while now. Anybody else famous in the industry? No, so a lot of comments, a lot of attention. The book project is really highly rated in the ecosystem, and you can go through and see the history and where they're headed. And here, good. Any questions about book? Yeah, I love the fact they're multiple chain as well. Again, that's going back to the interoperable thing that we talked about at the start. Algorand, Cardano, Ethereum, and Polygon all carrying out mints under Book.io already. And again, great to see just artwork on the front end, on the covers of books. Again, that's something that was sorely missing from my book collection. Because if we have no further questions, we've gone on an extra half an hour to normal. I don't know how I did that. Must be not too exciting.
Quick one, Jonathan. Are you heading to London tomorrow?
Thank you for joining again.
London?
I'll
Are
drop
you
the
heading
link
to London
onto the
tomorrow?
Discord as well, and I'll be back again next week, next Friday.
Jonathan, can you hear me?
All good. Any
Thanks very
questions?
much, Jonathan.
Good to wrap up there.
Thanks, Donald.
Thanks, Jonathan.
If not, then I'll say goodbye and have a good week or good weekend anyway.
Jonathan, can you hear me?
Okay. See you all.
No.
Bye bye.
It doesn't seem like he can hear you.